قال هل آمنكم عليه إلا كما أمنتكم على أخيه من قبل فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين ولما فتحوا متاعهم وجدوا بضاعتهم ردت إليهم قالوا يا أبانا ما نبغي هذه بضاعتنا ردت إلينا ونمير أهلنا ونحفظ أخانا ونزداد كيل بعير ذلك كيل يسير. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى المجتبى. My beloved brothers and sisters, continuing from where we left off, they came back to their father thinking that they weren't carrying any of the wheat and the barley that was being distributed when they went to visit the palace, hoping to acquire sustenance to help them through the difficult years ahead. They opened their backpacks and then they realized that they were indeed given that which they were looking for without them realizing, subhanallah. So they asked their father to allow them to take Binyamin so that they could come back with a lot more. Right? Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam said to them, هَلْ آمَنُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ إِلَّا كَمَا أَمِنْتُكُمْ عَلَىٰ أَخِيهِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. You want me to trust you the same way I trusted you all the first time round? Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam hasn't forgotten what they done to Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, his most beloved child. فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين. Right? Someone may say, why is Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam having bad thoughts and assumptions of his children? A lesson that we can take from this, my brothers and my sisters, is that Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam was skeptical of allowing them to take Binyamin this time round. Right? He had negative assumptions of his children. You may ask, didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن, أو you believe يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن. Stay away from a lot of these assumptions. Stay away from speculation. Right? But Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إن بعض الظن إثم. He said some of these assumptions is sinful. Right? Especially my brothers and my sisters, if one now has a track record of doing something, or he's done it before, is there a sin upon me now for having bad thoughts of that individual that he's going to do the exact same thing again? Yaqub had every right to think like this. Right? So if one has a track record of doing things of such, then you have every right to think like that. Right? And it wouldn't be sinful upon you, even though the base origin and the rule of thumb is that you try to give your brother the benefit of the doubt. You have good thoughts of him. Right? You don't just start having bad assumptions of your brother the first time you meet him. Especially also if you don't know anything about him. Right? So they took an oath because the father refused to let them take him unless they took the oath, right? And then he gave them a very important piece of advice. When you enter into Egypt, do not all enter via one entrance. Right? And we spoke about this early on. Evil eye. You have now 10 brothers walking together. What would the reaction be if people are looking at them? Right? So out of care and concern, he told them all to split up, to enter into the city, right, from different parts, from different entrances. Long story cut short, my brothers and my sisters. So when they entered upon Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam takes his brother Binyamin to the side and explains to him that he is his brother. Right? Allah Azza wa Jalla then tells us, فَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ جَعَلَ السِّقَايَةَ فِي رَحْلِ أَخِيهِ ثُمَّ أَذَّنَ مُؤَذِّنٌ أَيَّتُهَا الْعِيرُ إِنَّكُمْ لَسَارِقُونَ. And when he readied them he packed their backpacks with wheat and barley, the sustenance that they came for, right? He did a trick. And this trick was to get the whole family now to come back one last time, right? What did he do? He took the bowl of the king and placed it inside the backpack of Benjamin. And then he instructed one of his workers now to make an announcement that the bowl of the king has been stolen. قالوا وأقبلوا عليهم ماذا تفقدون? So people came running. What happened? What is it that has been lost? قالوا نفقد صواع الملك ولمن جاء بحمل بعير وأنا به زعيم. So then he told them that which has gone missing is the bowl of the king, right? And of course, all eyes on the brothers who had entered. So they swore by Allah, تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا جِئْنَا لِنُفْسِدْ. Indeed, you are fully well aware that we did not come to cause corruption and we weren't thieves. So then he was said to them, what is the punishment of the one who is caught lying? قالوا جزاؤه من وجد في رحله فهو جزاؤه. Right? The only one that deserves to be punished is the one who was caught stealing this bowl. كذلك نجزي الظالمين فبدأ بأوعيتهم قبل وعاء أخيه. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam then started checking the backpacks of all of his brothers. He started with them and he left Benjamin to last. Right? ثم استخرجها من وعاء أخيه, and then he took it out the backpack of his brother Benjamin. كذلك كدنا ليوسف ما كان ليأخذ أخاه في دين الملك إلا أن يشاء الله نرفع درجات من نشاء وفوق كل ذي علم عليم قالوا إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. Speeding it up a little bit, my brothers and my sisters, they said, if he stole, then indeed there was a brother of his that previously stole. فأسرها يوسف في نفسه. That's an accusation now, right? Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam never stole. However, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam kept it to himself. Right? The scholars, they take from this, not everything that one says about you should you always profess or bring out or hold the people to account for. There are things that you overlook. This was the kind of good-hearted individual he was. Could have got angry. He could have held them to account, put all of their statements and their mistakes under the microscope. But he just let that slide. Of course now, it's a very, very difficult situation that he's put his brothers in, right? And you can imagine what they're probably thinking now. We're going to go back to our dad. And now the second of his most beloved children has gone missing. What would the reaction of our father be? Right? قال أنتم شر مكانا والله أعلم ما تصفون قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا. So they began to plead, Almighty individual, indeed he has a father that is old in age. Take one of us, right, in his place. Right. إنا نراك من المحسنين. We see you from amongst the good doers. Right. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam responded back by saying, قال معاذ الله. He began to seek refuge in Allah. أن نأخذ إلا من وجدنا متاعنا عنده. How can we imprison anyone other than the one who committed the crime? How is that possible? If we did that, then we would indeed be oppressive and wrongdoing. فلما استيأسوا منه خلصوا نجيا. Subhanallah. When they lost hope in trying to reason with Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, they gave up. The oldest from amongst them, قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم موثقا من الله ومن قبل ما فرطتم في يوسف. Have you all forgotten that your father took an oath that you would bring back Benjamin, and also because of what you did previously with Yusuf? He said فلن أبرح الأرض حتى يأذن لي أبي أو يحكم الله لي وهو خير الحاكمين. I'm not going to leave this place, right, up until my father allows me to leave, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees for me that. Right? وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ, and He is the most fair of judges. So then the oldest from amongst them, he says, go back to your father and explain to them exactly what happened. Right? So they went back and they said, oh father, your son stole. And we only witnessed what everyone else witnessed. وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةِ, ask the people of the village. Right? Of course, they have to now come with a story that makes sense, that is believable. Right? And they were in fact telling the truth, saying that it wasn't us that got rid of him. Everyone was a witness to what actually happened. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. This is the second time round when he says beautiful patience. And this is my favorite benefit in Surah Yusuf. The first time round he said the aid of Allah is sought in that which you describe. What did he say this time round? عَسَى اللَّهُ أَنْ يَأْتِيَنِي بِهِمْ جَمِيعًا. Perhaps now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bring all of my children back to me. Hold on a second, my brothers and my sisters. Right? It seems as if now, the second time round, Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam has a sense of hope that was not present previously. Right? You would think to yourself, after going through so much trouble, and then it happens again, right? The trials and tribulations are intensifying, it's becoming more and more difficult. Most people would lose hope, right? But with Yaqub, that was not the case. 3 of his children now are missing. And with the wording that he has uttered, it seems as if he's more optimistic now of all being reunited with his children. What do the scholars say? When you go through difficulties, and then the difficulty gets even harder and more intense, it is then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve you of your difficulties. Right? Subhanallah. When you are on the brink of losing hope, it is then when you will be relieved, my brothers and my sisters. So do not break down. Do not let go. Do not lose hope. Right? Things are getting more and more difficult. It is then when you will be relieved, my brothers and my sisters. Right? So hang in there. Right? Do not let go. For indeed, the aid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is close. Inna nasr Allahi qareeb. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. My brothers and my sisters, see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is adl. He is fair and just in the way He manages. وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't allow the good deeds of the good doers to go to waste. I only complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about my sorrows and about my sadness and about my difficulties and hardships. You may have friends that support you, but there's only so much, my brothers and my sisters, they can do for you.